You're not gonna leave? You staying today? Okay. Just gonna make this a quick one. Had to jump on. Hadn't really come back and talked about the Super Bowl or given any kind of reaction in the 31-9 defeat of the Kansas City Chiefs at the hands of the Tom Brady led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you know, the discussion coming out of that with him becoming a 7-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, you know, is he the greatest of all time in professional sports? And I mean, I'm not trying to make a video to besmirch anything about the legacy of Brady. But the one reason why I would have to say he is the GOAT is because the simple fact that the Super Bowl, the pro football champion is determined in one game. None of the other team sports have a one game situation. So for that reason right there, I have to give him that. But I mean, thinking about it, I'd have to say Derek Jeter is almost is right there with him. I mean, being a five-time, I think it's five-time World Series champion for Derek Jeter. Hitting over 300 in the postseason, like 20 home runs in the postseason. I think 200 hits in the postseason. So I can't say that Derek Jeter is not underrated in this regard. And another issue that I have with just letting Brady be, you know, GOAT of professional sports unanimously is because how many times has it been the reason that they won was Ty Law or Brewski or McGinnis or Malcolm Butler or the field goal kicker? I can't even remember his name. But how many? And that's the nature of football. And how many times was it the coaching staff when they defeated the Rams back in what 2002 or whatever? That was a coaching staff. I mean, that was a coaching staff victory. Even this game right here was very much a coaching staff, X's and O's victory as much as it was Tom Brady, Adam Vinatieri. So how many times can it be these other individuals, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Derek Jeter plays defense and he's at the plate. It's a lot of times where Brady was not even on the field when the crucial play happened for them to win the championship. So, and then this year right here, he really had a normal game. 21 of 29 for 209 yards passing, 2 touchdown passes. He to me, he's like on game day, he's always the least worried. He's the one position he's the one player pretty much that you rarely have to be concerned about. He's going to be the most prepared guy on the field, the most prepared player on the field. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to deliver, you know, a performance that doesn't hurt the team. And probably over 50% of the time, he's going to factor in to be the difference of why your team won. So like I said, it's hard to argue otherwise. I mean, but when LeBron has to chase down Andre Iguodala's layup and block that, or get a rebound and kick it out, or score 40 points 2 or 3 times in a 7-game series, everything that Michael Jordan did, you know, and playing both sides, defense and offense, it's just some other dudes out there that you can't, Bill Russell, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, I don't know, man. It's tough to say greatest of all time in all of sports. But like I said, the one major factor is the fact that he only has one game to show up. And this particular year, I mean, hell of a scheming, a hell of a scheme and play calling and game planning by Byron Leftwich. I mean, if you look at some of the plays that they ran, the way that they were able to do things, running the ball, running the ball, set up the passing game, it wasn't even fair. I mean, it almost wasn't even fair. They really made Kansas City look bad. And, there have been questions about their defense because they got some pieces here and there, to prop things together. But like I said, man, I salute Tom Brady. I'm not even getting into the whole Spygate thing and Deflategate. I'm not even getting into any of that type of stuff. But just looking at it alone, a lot of things with sports come down to timing, where you land, who your teammates are, who the others are, who the supporting cast is, and even with picking to go to a place like Tampa Bay with all of the with all of the key pieces in place already, But at the end of the day, though, like I said, seven chips, 5 MVPs. 10 trips to the Super Bowl in general, you can't really argue with that. But again, if you look below the surface, there's some other things. Quickly changing speeds real quick, to go and sit up and listen to on the other side of it, the criticism or to now for Patrick Mahomes to have some naysayers, especially in particular Keyshawn Johnson, saying that, he thinks that Patrick Mahomes will never win another Super Bowl. I believe he said that yesterday on his radio show. It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, and honestly, I really don't find Keyshawn Johnson's sports talk all that great, and especially when he gets away from football, I really don't have much interest in what Keyshawn Johnson says as a sports broadcaster, sports personality. But I think it was shameful or silly. It's definitely foolish to try to jump to conclusions on like coronating or hailing Mahomes as anything, the greatest of anything, after just 2 or 3 years of being a full-time starter. It took us nearly a quarter of a century to watch what we just watched unfold with Tom Brady. So how do we, in the early stages of a professional career and some exceptional accolades in the first 2 to 3 years, how do you elevate him to that level automatically? Like, I didn't really understand that. And then because he has a humbling experience on the biggest stage in front of everybody, to turn around and make any strong statements against the kid seems unnecessary. Now, we all know about Marino. Got to the Super Bowl very early in his career, and unfortunately never visited the Super Bowl, never had a return to the Super Bowl. So it is very possible that Mahomes could never be on that stage again. But I think, just like I said with Tom Brady, the one thing about Patrick Mahomes is that's going to be a position for the next 8 to 12, 14 years, maybe 15 years, depending on how he takes care of his body and whatnot. But that's going to be a position that's the box is checked for the next, for the foreseeable future. At least the next 8 years, that's a spot that you don't have to worry about. But we know how challenging it is to put the other 52 guys around the one guy. And that's what Tom Brady has benefited from, for 20 years or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see, with that one key position taken care of, and what may become, his salary is kind of, it is what it is, for the end of this, for the balance of this deal that he's on. But and in a year or two, he'll probably be starting over with a new coach, whether or not that's Eric Bieniemy or somebody else. I don't, eventually he'll get from underneath the wing of Andy Reid, who has his shortcomings. But I wouldn't say it's over for Patrick Mahomes. And I'm not even going to lie, man. I mean, it didn't look pretty. But very rarely does every possible game-changing play, the ball bounces in the other team's favor. And on a couple, even though the man was only sacked 3 times, I mean, to learn the stat that Mahomes actually ran and scrambled for 497 yards before even throwing the ball is a crazy stat. And then to think about, how enamored most of us were with Patrick Mahomes' ability to totally disregard the fact that he was missing 3/5 of his offensive line. It was real reasons why he lost that game and why he looked that bad. And but I think the kid will bounce back. Now they may never again win. He may never win another Super Bowl. Just because he's as good as he is, that doesn't guarantee, because it's still gonna come down to the other 52 guys and the coaching staff. So we'll see what happens. But to come out and definitively say it's a wrap for him at this point, that's just that's above premature. But that's it, man. I thought it was unfortunately it was not the best game to watch unless you're a Tampa Bay fan. You never want to see a blowout and then pretty much a game that's decided by halftime. But they had some real issues out there. And again, it just goes to show how, fortune and good luck, for lack of a better word, it just goes to show how key that is. Brady is taking advantage of the QB rules of the day. Salute to him. I don't necessarily think he is the best. Yeah, Mr. Boxing Today. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the video. And looking at him as the greatest of all time in professional sports, that's another thing that I didn't mention. I said a lot of key stuff has happened for him in these wins with him being on the sideline. Whether that was Malcolm Butler's interception against the Seattle Seahawks, the field goals that Vinatieri kicked, the defensive performance against the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf. All of those things were the others. But like you said, he's benefited also from being protected in the one position that he plays. You can only do so much to him. And then we know because of who he is, he even gets some extra love in how he's protected or how the games are called when he gets contact. We saw, you like heavyweights. We saw how Sue threw that. I think he threw a little short right hook in there at a little check right hook as he was running by Mahomes when he was getting sacked, or at least when he was getting knocked down one time. And and Mahomes got up pointing to his helmet at the ref, and they missed it. They didn't call it. It's a good chance that if that was Brady, somebody would have watched it extra closely to make sure nothing like that happened. But anyway, it was a good win, man. I mean, like you said, like I was saying, 31-9. Only missed 8 passes all day. Great running game. I mean, they averaged nearly 5.5 yards per carry. Didn't allow Mahomes to be settled all day, and to get going in any kind of way. So it was a comprehensive butt kicking. Sue has that 70s and 80s, man. Yeah, Sue is dirty, man. He's always looking for the extra, the extra advantage, or to get the extra oomph in there. He's always pushing the envelope. But hey man, email me email me your email, man. I wanted to holler at you about something. You can get me at paymenomindShow@gmail.com. And maybe I even come back and put it on the in the comment section. But email me, man. I want to link up with you for a discussion on something. So if you got some time, you know, maybe in the next week or two. But anyway, that was it, man. Like I said, I don't have anything to take away from Brady. It's just you know, looking at Jordan, looking at a LeBron. Yes, a LeBron. Oh, and I know Brady had some phenomenal plays out there. I think in the loss in the Super Bowl that he had, didn't he throw for or the comeback against the Atlanta Falcons? But when we look at somebody like a Larry Bird, that play that Larry Bird made against the Detroit Pistons, the Bad Boys, the year before they got to the finals, when he stole that inbounds pass. That's what I'm saying. When these basketball players, you have to play both sides of the court. You got to block shots. You got to rebound. You got to get steals. You got to do all kinds of things. Here's an individual like Larry Bird. They were beat. I was a young boy and had watched that series for 2 or 3 years, you know, running up against the Celtics. And when we thought we had them beat, unathletic, you know, bad back, somewhat slower foot, Larry Bird steps in and steals a pass in the front court and throws it back in to DJ for the layup. I mean, I was destroyed. I was devastated. And so that's what I'm saying. When we look at these other athletes in these other sports, it's hard for me to go with a quarterback when it's set up for you to the protection that Mr. Box in the Day mentioned, and the fact that your defense goes out there and makes plays. It's a little gray area in there for me. But anyway, let me come out here, man. Pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. 1.